Bead Mosaic. The first thing we have is a bezel. This is from the craft store, and it's basically like a frame. It has a little bit of an edge all the way around for you to put things inside of. Sometimes people put photos and stuff inside them. So we got that little heart bezel to start with, and then we have a selection of beads. We have some silver seed beads, we have some bugle beads, and we have some bicones, little crystal bicones here. And what we're going to do is put some glue inside of our bezel. This is E6000. This is a nice craft glue. And I don't want to put glue over the hole inside yet because it might set up too quickly. So I'm going to do a little glue at a time, do a section at a time. That way we're not rushing also, which is nice. So we've got our glue in there. And then what we want to do to start with, I want to make a little flower out of these beads. And I'm going to spread the glue a little bit flatter here. This will be our flower section in the center. And you can pick these beads up with your fingers to make your mosaic and drop them in like this, but you might get glue on your fingers. I think it's easier to use some tweezers. This is really our bead scoop, and it happens to have these nice tweezers on the end. And so I'm going to use the tweezers to set the beads in. And I just put a green one in the center there, and I'm going to put these bicones around the side. Whoop, that one jumped. And they don't even really need to be arranged in any direction. They'll just look like a little flower here when we're done. So spread them out a little bit evenly. And there's our little center, already looks like something. That's cute. And now we can add a little bit more glue and do the beads around the outside edge. I think it would be nice to do the bugle beads as a kind of border. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of our glue in there and spread it around like I did before with the toothpick. Just spread a little bit. You don't want to be too skimpy with the glue because the glue is going to hold these beads in. And the glue is clear anyway, so it doesn't matter if you have a lot of it in there. And then, like I said, I like using these tweezers. And I'm going to set some of these bugle beads in as a little border frame. I can mush it into place there. These are kind of long, so they're not going to turn this corner that well. So I have some shorter bugle beads that were in the mix. And I'm just going to spread those around. Those can be in the curved part up here. And already that's looking like a nice little frame. Put those there. I think I'll do a double frame, and as long as I still have glue here, I'll go ahead and do the second part of this border because I still have a little bit of glue showing. I'll put another one of these blue ones in here. These are glass bugle beads. They're kind of have a silvering to them. They're very pretty. So now I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to put some glue down here. You can see if you put glue over the whole thing and then tried to lay in your whole mosaic, you'd feel rushed. You don't need to feel rushed, especially if you're going to do a design that's more complicated. This one's not very complicated, but you could do a very nice mosaic in here and arrange each bead carefully, and then you would want time to set your beads down. This has a little glue string. I'm twisting that toothpick as I pull that glue string up, and it shortens the glue string and makes it break off more quickly. A little tip. So now I can put another bead in here and just mush that into place. Having the glue wet like this helps. Gives you room to move things around rather than if it was starting to set up. Now I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side here. And do a little glue up here at the top. And I'm really doing about a pea size, not even a pea, a small kernel of corn size drop of glue there, not much. And spread it around a little bit. We want to come all the way over to here. And we can repeat what we did in this top corner by putting a couple of these smaller bugle beads up here. We almost have room for one here, but I didn't put any glue there. So I'm just going to steal a touch of glue from here. I'm going to smear it over here so we can put another bead over here. And that toothpick is very handy for moving the glue around. And then I'll just drop that one in there. Oh, that looks great. So you want to definitely get a selection of sizes for these bugle beads if you do a border like this, especially if you have a curve. Your bezel, maybe you'll get a bezel that's a circle or a heart shape like this. You'll want to have these smaller ones to turn corners. Or you could get a bezel that is just a square frame, and that would be really fun to make a mosaic inside of. Now, as I'm running out of room, it's going to be harder to squeeze the glue in. So instead, I'm going to take a clean toothpick and I'm going to put some glue right on the toothpick. And then I can use that to apply the glue inside of this bezel. Make sure I get the glue where I need it. And like I said, it dries clear, so don't worry about it showing. But that gives me room now with glue to put in a little bit more border here. And we have room for one more piece here. And I'm not worrying too much about which colors I pick up. If there's two next to each other, it doesn't matter. They just all look good together. So our border's all done. And now what we're going to do is fill in the center with these silver seed beads. And so I'm going to apply the glue just like I did before with the toothpick. I'm going to put some glue in there. Squeeze out a drop there. And I'm going to put some over on the other side too, if I can get it to let go. So the spin technique is helping. And then we just need a tiny bit at the bottom. And for this part, I am going to go ahead and put all the glue down that I think I need, because I'm not going to hand arrange all these seed beads. The seed beads are really hard to set down in here. It's easier to kind of dump them in and then just manipulate them into place. I just want to make sure I have glue everywhere that I want the beads to stick. So now I can use the scoop part of my bead tweezers, and I'm just going to drop these in, and then once I have them in the mosaic, I'm going to push them into place. So I don't want them on top of my flower, so I'm going to move them out of the way of the flower, and I'm just going to press them down into the glue. Just look again and see if there's any spots you're missing. We need a bead here. And everything's still a little bit wet, so I can just move these around a little bit if I need to. I'll mush that one down. I'll make them all the same height, mush them down a little bit. So if you wanted to, you could turn all these seed beads over, but I like the texture of the circles where they show. They give a little added shine. And now all we need to do is let this cure, and our bead mosaic is finished.